you're watching tulipswift. Today I'm doing my January reviews. These are all the books I read in January 2018. Woo! I did wrap-ups on my channel at the very beginning. Now I'm doing them again. It is February 11th. I don't feel that bad because I've actually been doing productive schoolwork. I also spent over 20 hours on my YouTube anniversary video, which you should check out. By the way, those are the nicest comments I've ever received. My goal is to read 100 books. My goal has been to read 100 books every year. I've really used the term book very leniently in January. YouTuber books, and I have children's books, and I have comic books. So that's really what January turned out to be for me. So what I'm talking about is Twilight Saga, the complete film archive. I bought this because it's a $40 book that was on clearance for $7. Starts with the first movie because it goes through all of them, which is actually kind of sweet. So what's unique about this, crew calls. So you get these like envelopes and you open it and you're like, what could it be? And then they literally give you copies of these invitations. This one says, Summit Entertainment invites you to the world premiere of Twilight at Main Village Theater. But isn't that kind of cool? Can we just take a moment? Like, I'm so trash. Like, look at this. How do I have any friends? And the fact that I got it on clearance and all of the memorabilia was still intact, like, long live, like, bless. If you don't know who Xavier Samuel is, he plays Riley, and I was so obsessed with him. Here's the page that had me shook. They printed out the wedding invitation. Look at this. I love the fetus Twilight mania, like when Robert Pattinson would go to Hot Topic and then they'd have thousands of people lined up at the mall. I don't know, all of the people connected through Twilight, and it made me feel so good and like grounded and kind of nostalgic. Leah got 6 at forensics. Yes, queen! Then I started Turtles All the Way Down by John Green with pretty low expectations. So don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil Turtles All the Way Down. I was really unimpressed on how he spoke of mental illness because that was the praise and that was the appeal of Turtles All the Way Down. I felt like I'd seen better writing that more validated thoughts. Granted, I don't suffer from the same things that Ava in this book does. I couldn't see her point of view or dive into her point of view. It's really hard to explain, but that's what happens when you have such an introspective novel. If you're not in there, it's not working. She starts inching toward this romantic relationship. Her feelings on that and her reaction to what was going on to like kissing a boy, and I was relating to this part and I felt way more invested. I felt way more comfortable and I felt like I really fit in here and I could follow her. 80% through the book is when I flipped a shit and I was so pissed. I was really mad because I was getting so triggered by the depictions of anxiety. I wasn't feeling validated. I wasn't invested in the plot. I was interested in the characters. It made me laugh like twice. Turtles All the Way Down really gave me some feelings that I haven't had in a long time. And then my last status update, this had triggered my worst anxiety plus all of this horrible microbes nonsense. No comfort, just trigger after trigger without supporting plot or structure. That's what it comes down to, is if you're gonna be like sucked into her point of view and relate to what she's suffering from. There was definitely some validation that just felt cheesy, overplaced. If you read it, you might know like it's like one page at the end that I'm talking about. You're not helping me. Is this supposed to be what I've been waiting for this whole book? Because I just don't feel okay. I'm gonna stop talking about Turtles All the Way Down. Next, I read more trash. I read The Amazing Book Is Not on Fire by Dan and Phil. It was kind of annoying because it's just written like Dan and Phil speak, and if you wrote down everything Dan and Phil said and read it without their voice, it would be so boring, which is exactly what happened. Great pictures, great graphic design, and I was just kind of like, this is so weird because it's not making me laugh. What actually happened is I got an Audible credit because I forgot to cancel my free trial, so I had 1 credit and I decided to download this book. I listened to the audiobook and immediately realized I ended up literally having the book open in front of me listening to the audiobook, and that was the best experience for me. This is such an old book now. They just seem so young in this. When I found their channel, their most recent video was the Tabbing Off trailer. This is very like scrapbooky, lots of pictures. I was kind of on a YouTuber binge, so I decided to read I Hate Myself by Shane Dawson. I have been watching Shane Dawson for maybe 2 years, maybe less than that. I actually watched him for months before I realized he was the same guy with the straight hair. Guess who just came by? My friends are here, guys. I have friends. Hi, I'm Natalie. I live with her. Follow-up subscriber.
I could never replace you.
So when I started this book, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like fetus Shane, because I did watch his old videos. It was really a lot of his old humor, which I was not familiar with, but it was the same Shane. It was the same like childhood stories that he talks about now. There was a barrier here. He was not out yet. I was kind of having the same experience as Tabanoff because it's like he's not an author, and I feel like he doesn't read books in his free time. And so he just wrote it like how he talked. I can't just read it like a regular book in my reading voice. I try to read it like Shane would say it. The next book is Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee Stewart. I started this book 2 years ago. That's so freaking long. It's probably been like 3 now.
This is probably the only book that I ever read that I read faster than Abby.
I thought it'd be an easy read, but it actually turned into a really long journey. You know, it's quality children's literature. I'm a huge fan of Series of Unfortunate Events, and I was kind of looking for a reprise of that. You know, completely different stuff. It's a different society. So I think my biggest complaint is that how long it feels. I went into this looking for a quick read because it's a children's book, and I thought that would make it fast-paced, but it was actually the opposite. It was kind of more of a book that you would read out loud to someone and do the voices. But here I am, and I finished it. Am I gonna read the rest of the series? We'll see. Next I read Miss Marvel, No Normal. In December I read 1 through 3 again. In January I read number 4. Bruno's like my favorite. I got him in issue 4. That was cool. Can't wait to see where things go there. Kind of ship it. Next I read Who Could Be at This Hour. This is a reread. I already read this book. It's the first book in All the Wrong Questions by Lemony Snicket. So I read this one again. What's different from this that I'm not getting from this that I got from a Series of Unfortunate Events is that I'm not like connected to the characters. That's what I want from the second one, because I've read this twice now and I should probably just read the second one. I'm really excited to see how much I'm going to learn about VFD, how much I'm going to learn about the unknown. The last book I read in January is Killer by Sarah Shepard. Book 6 in Pretty Little Liars. You know, I'm still reading this series. Like, why not? It's a thing. The thing about Pretty Little Liars is it could have been a 5-book series that was really exciting, but it's not. It's like 14 books, maybe 15. I know there's at least 10. There's a lot of them, which kind of works because it's a long-lasting TV show. The Killer was fun. It was kind of annoying because there was not a love interest I was rooting for in this book. As I've mentioned in every review of a Pretty Little Liars book, Caleb isn't real. He only exists in the TV show, and he was my favorite, so it's kind of sad. I keep waiting for him to walk into the picture, but it's not gonna happen. He was just written for the show, whatever. So that was Killer. Thank you for watching. I love you so much.